to another wonderful episode of Silent Screaming Resurrected.
Oh no.
Woohoo!
Oh wait. Oh yeah.
We don't have our live audience here today.
No, unfortunately. But we do have a special guest. All the way from the hit podcast Your Poor Dad. Wow, I really sound like a smoker today. I'm realizing
I like
my
it.
voice. Yeah, that like sore throat swag happening right now.
I'm jealous.
Art, I just cut you off about talking about you as a guest.
It's
This
okay.
is
We'll get
special
all
guest.
about Patrick.
We'll get back to me, I promise.
This is Paige Brandt. Give it up, live audience. Wow.
I'm really excited to be here, guys.
Yeah, we're
Honestly,
excited to have you.
A little cross podcast episode. I'm here for it.
Cross pollination or whatever.
Exactly.
Which feels very on brand for Austin, Texas, where every allergen is currently killing us, hence the voice.
Currently killing my dog.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's the
Poor-
voice even worse.
Poor little thing. Last night, I had to give him a little bath, and then I had to put socks on him and a new t-shirt, and he's looking at me. He looks like a toddler, and he's looking at me so pitiful. He's like, "Why are you doing this to me?" Because he'll scratch himself. He was scratching himself until he was bleeding.
What kind of dog is it?
French bulldog.
His name's
Oh,
Woman.
are their allergies really bad?
The worst.
Oh, no.
Truly.
I know.
He's the cutest, though. They're both very cute. I love Tiger and Roman both a lot. I love a dog.
They're so cute.
I love a dog.
Dog people.
Today we're drinking, if you're watching us on the visual medium version of the podcast, I made this last minute cocktail. I'm going to call it a Bloody Elevator because it just feels on brand.
That's perfect.
Yeah, it's a vodka big red with moonshine cherries in it because I'm a psychopath.
But you know what? It's actually not terrible.
No,
it's
it
drinkable for
only
sure.
lightly
Yeah.
tastes like medicine.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Only a little tiny bit, but yeah. So, Paige, what's new in your life? What is your relationship with horror? Sorry.
Horror. Yeah, those are two very different
Not
things.
whores.
Or both. You can talk about both.
or both. With horror, I have loved scary movies since I was really little. I was a little weirdo kid that was always wanting to watch scary movies, and my mom and dad were like, should we allow this? But it worked out. It wasn't until recently. The weird thing about me and my horror journey is I would watch anything and everything, and then probably about 5 years ago, all of a sudden, blood and gore started to really bother me.
Really?
Like if I saw, it was whenever I sliced my finger open and I saw the flap of skin just like flop down.
Yeah.
Then when I was watching a movie, where kind of the same thing, like a flap of skin, I was like that gets me.
Yeah, I was gonna say during Evil Dead, there was a moment
That
where
was
you fully
different.
audibly started going.
That
in the
was
theater.
different, and we will get there. We will talk about it. That was different. But then also the possession movies, kind of like this movie we watched, those freak me out because that's what you can run away from a bad guy. What are you gonna do with you can't
With
run
the
away from a
demon.
demon.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I think growing up like in religious environments
Yeah.
makes those always scarier too. Because even though I don't give like a lot of weight to that anymore, it's still like in the back of your mind, like
It's
that
scary.
stuff's
Yeah.
some scary shit.
It's really, and because it's like, who's gonna believe you?
Exactly.
If I'm possessed and you guys are like, hey, police officers, she's possessed, they're like, no, she's not. She's just crazy.
Right. Right.
It's just this crazy.
I know. So
Yeah. At the end of every possession movie, I'm like, what are they going to tell the police? Because we never get to
Exactly.
see that happen.
what is the aftermath?
Well, how come
Always
at the end of
wonder.
every horror movie, like it always ends with the police like rolling up, and then it's just like the credits, and we're like, okay, I don't know.
They
but-
went to jail for forever.
for forever, yeah.
Yeah.
But I agree with you with the possession movies. Like possession movies, demonic movies in general, they just strike a different chord with me. I can watch gore all day long.
Yeah.
Some of it makes me more uncomfortable than others, like we talked about in Terrifier.
No.
I'm still trying to pressure Paige into watching Terrifier 2. It's going to happen.
No. See, that is next level gore. That is next
That's like
level
extreme gore. Yeah, I would agree.
There's a scene in that movie that truly like...
Which one? The first one?
The second one?
Oh yeah.
I think that was worse than the scene in the first one.
Oh yeah.
The scene in the first one hurts me.
This one's worse.
It is different for women.
But it also like knows that it's worse. It knows that it's bad. It's like messing with you when it's happening. What have y'all been watching recently besides Evil Dead, obviously?
I've been watching a lot. I feel like the last few episodes I've always like come to the table being like, oh, I didn't really like watch anything cool. I have a list, so I'm just gonna like do a very quick brief, a quick brief, and I'm gonna put, I'm gonna say like what it is, and then I'll just give my own personal rating, like 1 out of 10, 10 being the best. Okay, so we started Love and Death yesterday. It's the new, yes, and Jesse Plemons. It is on HBO Max. We just started it. It's kind of too soon for me to give it a full rating. I would say there's not really a whole lot of love or death. So I'm about to start. I'm only 2 episodes in. But for right now, I'd give it like a solid 7. It's kind of a slower burn, at least based on the first 2 episodes that I've watched. But the acting, of course, is great. And it's intriguing. And I'm curious to see where it goes. Obviously, I believe have all been watching Yellow Jackets.
Yes.
I'm behind. I know I need to catch
I'm
that.
really liking season 2. I don't know if I love it as much as season 1 yet. So right now I'd give it like a 7.5.
I am just waiting
for the other shoe to drop or something.
Yes, I'm just waiting for everything to come full circle.
Over, yeah.
But I am really liking season 2. Yeah. I'm here for it. At first, I was like, this is taking way too long to,
But Sean has been pregnant for forever, right? Like, it's definitely been longer than 9 months, right?
Well, no, it's like supposed to be passing in almost real time-ish. Like, it's winter time still. So I feel like a month has maybe... I mean, also, I'm like an episode or 2 behind. So
I don't know, because I think I am really confused with the timeline. Every time we have a flashback, how long have they been there? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Because it does seem like she's been pregnant forever.
Yeah.
I will say it bothers me maybe too much that they switched out all of those like background actors. They've like, because they're more substantial characters this season.
I was wondering that too.
There's like
I
didn't notice.
There's like 4 new girls who were not there in the first. There were like some in the background, but they're completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Sucks
girls.
for the background.
Well, they keep killing off the other girls.
I know.
So
There was one girl who I remember from. I watched this really shitty. I think it's a sci-fi series that was on Netflix called like Van Helsing. It's about like a lady modern day Van Helsing, and there was a girl from that show who was one of the background girls, and she got cut. And I was like, R.I.P.
Story of the ensemble life.
I know. There's no security in that job.
No. And just a few more things. I started Swarm.
Still need to watch that.
It's not what I thought I was going to be. I like it more than I thought I was going to, but I'd still only give it a 6. Beef.
Harsh critic.
I know. I've been watching Beef. Give it a solid 8 out of 10. It's really good.
I need to watch that.
I'm not done with it yet. I'm like, I think I have 2 more episodes left. I'll skip some of this other stuff. Like we watched stuff that was not horror related, like Puss in Boots.
Oh my God.
However,
I love that movie. the most recent one. It was very cute.
It was really cute.
I recently watched Shrek, so I'm on the same.
For the first time?
For the first time, I watched the Shrek, the last one, I think. Where he like wishes that he could replace a day with Rumpelstiltskin. I think that one. I hadn't seen that one.
I think that's the second one. No,
I don't know.
I don't know, because I think the second one,
I know they're making
Puss
a
in
4th
Boots
one.
is there. Or maybe that's the third. I don't know how many there are, but there was this one that I had not seen, and Puss he was fat. He was a fat cat. So that was cute. He was really lovable.
It's that's a really great movie.
Do you know they're making a 4th?
Yes, I did know that. I don't know why I thought that was already out.
No, they're making a 4th one.
Okay. Well, I also I'm just trying to get through my list because it's really long. I watched Tar.
How did you feel?
5 out of 10.
That's how. Okay. Great.
I don't think I know Tar. What's Tar?
It's a Cate Blanchett movie. It was an Oscar-nominated film. I also did not feel very strongly about it. Like
She was
everyone was like,
fantastic.
"It was so good," and I was like, "Really?"
It was the slowest movie I've seen in a very long time, but it did hold my attention just based on her performance alone.
Oh yeah, she was
but
fantastic.
The story itself was a snooze fest. Honestly, I was like, I don't know why I thought it was going to be like more creepy than it was. I don't know. The trailer is very misleading. And then just what one of the things I'm excited about is I did rewatch Insidious, the first one yesterday, and I forget how good of a movie it is.
Until the end.
Well, yeah.
In my opinion. I'm like, that movie freaked me out until the very end. I'm like, oh.
But Insidious 2,
I don't remember Insidious 2.
I just remember being really disappointed.
Well, they're coming out with Insidious The Red Door this year. I think it's
I'm
coming out in
excited about that,
July. So rewatching the first one yesterday made me really excited about the new one. Okay, but I'm done with my list. I went through a lot.
Do you know they're also making a new Conjuring movie?
Yes.
And I think maybe you sent me the video about that. And a Conjuring series that's going to be coming out.
That's going to creep me out.
Yeah.
It's going to be good. I hope so. I would think so.
The only things I've been watching, I watched every Evil Dead movie again. I mean, granted, I don't think I had seen all the old ones, like Evil Dead 1, 2, and Army of Darkness. I didn't rewatch 2013, but I've watched that like 8 million times.
I rewatched that yesterday.
It's so good. And I've watched pretty much all of it, but it's not recently. The series Ash vs. Evil Dead, which was also really
I never
solid.
even finished that. I watched the first season.
Yeah, I think I watched the first season and part of that. There's only 2, I think.
There's 3 seasons.
Oh, well, I don't know that. And then I watched on the plane to Atlanta, I watched Significant Other finally.
Okay, what did you think about that one? Because I really liked it.
That movie. It was not at all what I expected it to be.
I know it's one of those movies where you watch it and you halfway through the movie you're like, oh, I know where this is going, and then like it's a totally different movie after the second half of the movie.
Had a great plot twist. Ooh, I need to talk in the mic.
Talk in your microphone.
Oops.
Come on.
Not a professional.
You noob.
Not a professional. I'm used to having the mics to just like pick things up, except for they sound like shit. So you know. And then I think the only other thing I watched, this is a very old movie, but I'd never seen No Country for Old Men, which to me is like adjacent to the horror genre because it's very violent. I watched that on a plane also. I don't recommend watching that on a plane.
I was going to say, it's like
very really gory.
So I watched A Clockwork Orange for the first time on the plane.
Oh no!
And I mean, of course, the first scene is like a rape scene.
There's so much rape in that movie.
And I was like, oh, maybe now is not the best time.
I feel like the only thing you can watch on a plane is a comedy.
Yeah.
Or like a rom-com, like romance or comedy.
See, I have no care for the people next to me. I always watch horror on the plane.
See, that's what I'm always scared of. I'm like, who's looking at my screen?
Right. Well, someone, after I was watching Tar, she leaned over after the movie. She's like, what movie was that? And I was like, Tar. She goes, huh? I was like, Tar. She was not getting it. I was like, never mind. If you don't know, you don't know.
You're like, it's okay. You can miss it. It's not that great.
Yeah, I don't recommend. I told her it was just okay.
And I'm also very excited about, this is not horror, but the theater kid energy that will come out because of this is very horrifying, is the Wicked movie that's coming out in 2024.
Oh my gosh, I know. I don't know how I'm going to wait till 2024.
It's so far away.
I know.
But that's really all.
It's going to be good.
I don't think, do you have anything that you've seen lately or that you're excited about?
Yesterday, Bailey and I watched The Good Nurse. Have you guys watched it? It's based on a true story where this guy, he was sentenced for 29 deaths, but it's probably like he actually killed more, like 400.
He's like an angel of death.
Well, that's the craziest thing. He's never explained why he did it. He was a nurse. He was a very good nurse, except he was a really bad nurse.
Right.
And he would inject the IVs beforehand, so he wouldn't know which IV bag was going to go into which room. So he was getting off, I guess, on just injecting the bags full of several different clear drugs.
Oh my God.
And then the other nurses would be the ones to hang up the IVs and inject the person. So, I mean, so all these other nurses felt like they were guilty. Anyways, it was like obviously true crime. It was so real. And that just really brought the mood down yesterday when I'm watching. I'm like, 400 people? I know.
400?
400.
Oh my God.
That is terrifying.
But they could only prove 29. And because they were asking, who was it? And he's like, I don't know the names of the victims, because he only really remembered whenever it was one of his friends, his nurse friends' patients that died. They were really upset. They're like, how did they turn so quickly, whatever. So he's like, okay, I remember this name, this name, this name. But he, like I said, he never knew who was going to get his
like
IV bags. And that's the kind of horror that's terrifying, because it's real. You know,
and it's
real,
senseless.
real.
Like there's no reason for, like, you could be going into the hospital for just, you know, a surgery and then never come out.
That's
I know.
That is really terrifying.
Like the surgeon in Dallas who was killing people.
That podcast is
Death.
crazy.
That is so scary, because that guy, he was a back surgeon. And my dad got back surgery in Dallas.
Oh my God.
Like in that time frame. Obviously, he didn't go to that guy, but he could have.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he could have. And some people were just finding like rags in their backs. years later. Like, that's wild.
That
he
is
like
really
permanently
crazy.
paralyzed his best friend.
Because I think that's when he left the rag in there.
Yeah.
He's like, slap it up a sign.
Yes, he's like, oh, okay, let's close it up.
God.
Anyways, that's
Nut
the
job.
scary
That is
shit.
that's so stressful. That's more stressful than any horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah, real people are always scarier for me, for sure. What else is coming out that we're excited? I'm excited about The Exorcist. We still haven't seen a trailer for that, but I did see a full title. I already forgot what it was called. The Exorcist something. The last.
The Last Possession.
The Exorcist really scared me as a kid. I don't know what grade I was in, but I know that my older sister still lived in the house, so I must have been 7th, 8th grade, I guess. And the scene, like when the bed's shaking, and you can like hear it rattling, whatever. The crawling is what really got me. That's what stuck in my mind. But I swear on everything in this world that night when I'm sleeping, I hear from my sister's room like this rattling, and I was like, I'm screaming. My dad comes running in. He's like, what? I'm like, she's possessed. Go. And
She's probably fucking with you.
no, it was her. The fan was like wiggly, and so it was just like. But I was convinced that it was. I've never noticed it before until I saw The Exorcist, and I was like, "Whoa, this shit got me good."
Yeah, that is very suspicious. She may have been.
Suspicious.
The devil works in mysterious ways.
I've not been watching a ton at home. I've been watching a lot of like feel good TV just because of the work's been real stressful, as Paige can also attest to. We work together, by the way, audience.
Don't get me started.
Where she is my work wife.
Yes.
And it's been a rough time, so I watch a lot of like Great British Bake Off and Next in Fashion is my roommate and our show.
You like that show?
I love that show.
Okay.
Very homosexual.
I've been watching Vanderpump Rules because the drama, the tea is piping hot, and I am here for every second of it because I'd rather, be totally engulfed with someone else's drama instead of drama in my life.
See, I tried that. I started watching Selling Sunset again, but I get so like
I love that show too.
so angry and riled up because of Christine's bullshit on that show.
It sounds like she's not going to be in the new season.
Yeah, she's gone.
Do you know that my sister's best friend's husband's on that show? Well,
Really?
and she's on the show too, but it's like her husband's the real estate
Aren't they
agent.
on the Selling Orange County?
Yeah, I don't know the different selling ones, but they're in
No,
Orange
I know
County.
that they are like they're featured at some point on Selling Sunset, and then they got their own like series. I think secondary series.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep. Maybe we can get them on the podcast one day.
Oh,
just
that would be cool.
brainstorming, putting it on this podcast so we can put it on our podcast.
That's right.
Speaking of your podcast, which is about the life of the three children of a dad who just
Three
all happen
women.
to be
Yeah,
three
three
girlies,
sisters.
which Jordan also is of the
Yep.
All
three
girls?
sister
All
ilk.
girls.
Mhm.
Oh my!
Girls.
And there's 3.
There's 3 total. However, my older sister, she was already out of the house when I was born.
Okay.
So there was
Still.
So you're the middle child also.
Oh,
Honestly,
see, there you go.
I think that, and from all of the people who DM me, the middle children are like where it's at. Then
It's
again,
true.
obviously they would DM me that because they know I'm gonna
I'm
resonate
basically
with it.
I'm basically a middle child. 'Cause
No,
I'm
you're like solid only child vibes.
that's like
Yeah.
being a middle child, right?
No.
It's the same thing.
No.
No, but we love you for it.
No.
No.
Did I tell you about the time I asked my roommate if I probably said this on the podcast at some point. I was like, "Do I give off only child energy?" And her and my old roommate Rebecca both just burst into laughter.
Because it's a yes.
I think it was like such a yes that they couldn't even answer.
They're like, I can't believe it. Like, that's a joke that
I'm
you're
like,
asking.
that's offensive. That's
How
rude.
dare you
I
ask
don't
us that?
think that if I met you not knowing you that I'd be like, oh, he's definitely an only child. But I think it would just take maybe like a full day hanging out.
I was gonna say no more than one day.
Wow. Apparently, all it takes is playing a board game with me, and then you know. Because I'm really mean when we play board games.
You never had to lose.
That's
I lost a lot to my dad.
Well,
your dad was like, I'm not letting you win.
Exactly.
Yeah.
yeah, but it's different when it's your peers, and it's different when it's your sister because they'll just
Yeah.
elbow to the face.
Elbow to the face.
Ruthless.
Ruthless.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that's all of our business.
Business, yep.
We're gonna be take a little break, and then come back and talk about Evil Dead Rise.
Yeah.
The new film from, I don't know who directed it. Lee Cronin.
Lee Cronin. It was not Sam Raimi.
No, he produced it, though. I think he's a producer on it. Pretty sure.
Well, there's a little tidbit
for you. Right back. Welcome back.
Dead by dawn. Dead by dawn.
What line was I going to say? I was going to say the...
Tummy.
I have to get the creepy crawlies out of my tummy. That was one of my favorite lines.
Wait, what was the one about the titty suckers or something?
I'm finally free of you titty sucking fucks or something.
Yeah. Titty sucking freeloaders.
Freeloaders,
is
that's
what she
it
calls
was.
them.
Today we're talking about Evil Dead Rise, the newest film in the Evil Dead universe.
Yeah.
Which, fun fact, they intentionally in this one confirmed that they're all movies happen in the same cinematic universe.
They do.
The way they did that was in the clip where it said there's 3 books. Yeah. Because there's 3 books. One is the book that they find in the original Evil Dead.
Yeah.
One is the book from
and you're talking about the Nomonomicon.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah, I was going to say, you did the Finding Nemo version of Evil Dead. The Necronomicon.
Necronomicon.
The one was the original movie Necronomicon. One was the 2013 movie, was another book. And then this one was a 3rd book. And they're the 3 known Necronomicons in existence.
Why did I think so is the 2013 version, does that not happen I thought that was in the same cabin.
No.
It potentially is, actually. It's like loosely confirmed that's the same cabin because you can even see Ash's car like rusted out in the driveway. It looks the same, but I think they tried to say that like another Necronomicon found its way there because the books kind of have like minds of their own.
Another book found its way there?
Well, because the original book is removed from the house in Army of Darkness. It like goes back. It does something. I don't know what it fucking does. It goes somewhere else. But regardless, there's supposed to be 3 books, and according to the producers of this movie.
Well, they say it in this movie too.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay, but I haven't watched all of the other things. Is there anywhere where it says why the book in this new movie was in a vault, locked up?
I think the
or do we not know that?
Point of the book is like you really don't want people to be able to access it. So like in theory, they should probably all be in vaults. They just succeeded in like locking it up.
Okay.
But again, because the books have a mind of their own, they can kind of like work their way out of wherever they are to get into the right hands.
Do you know what I would really love to see is, you know how in this film he's listening to volume 1 and 2 because he finds it. And like after the earthquake, he finds it in the hole in the ground, and he brings it back up to the apartment, and he plays the record or whatever, and it kind of, you can kind of envision, I don't even know what year it was supposed to be, but these priests or people in the church, they are dealing with this Necronomicon book. Did I say that right? Anyway, and so like over the course of the 3 records or 7, I think. Obviously things transpired, and he was saying that he had to kill his friends and his colleagues and blah, blah, blah. I would like to see a movie of that.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
And like basically how it got from that to underground.
Right. Exactly. And that's kind of what I was asking, if that already existed or
it does
no.
not.
It does not. Though I will say the voice in the tape that says like, you need to destroy that it's called The Book of the Dead for a reason. That voice was Bruce Campbell. He voiced that part, which I really liked.
I love little Easter eggs.
I guess we
like
also
that.
need to like get to the crux of things. Like, what are our overall like? Give me a short like couple of words of your thoughts of the movie.
Paige, you can
Start
go
with
first.
Paige.
Yeah.
Okay. I liked it, but I thought it was confusing. And corny in the best way. I don't know. And gory.
So
and gross.
gory.
Okay, that's quick.
Jordan.
I liked it. I like 2013 better. I see what they were trying to do of bringing it back to its original roots with the original movies. And I think that's why it felt kind of corny and cheesy. I particularly prefer the style of the way 2013 was done. And I was expecting more gore. I wanted more gore.
There was a lot of
gore
oh my
in this movie.
God. It's like once shit started happening, it was every scene was gore, 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 gore.
Okay, I'll let you say that, but I have to defend why I say that.
That's fine. I was going to say personally, I consider it almost perfect as a horror movie.
Interesting.
I agree that
I can agree with almost perfect as a horror movie.
Like, I think it's going to age super well. I think that I like the efforts to bring it back, like you said, to its roots of the comedy aspect. I do think it was a little overkill sometimes, like the "come and get me," because that was really them trying to harken back to Ash.
Yeah.
Like he does
with the chainsaw.
He literally says those exact words in Army of Darkness, and like they wanted to harken back to that feeling. But it's hard to make a horror movie that's both that and scary, and I think they accomplished it, honestly.
That's fair.
I think I liked it a little better than 2013.
Wow. Okay.
But I love 2013 is like one of my favorite horror movies of all time, so this is up there for me for sure.
Interesting.
But yeah, I don't know. The only time where I was like pulled out of the movie and was like, okay, was the car circling scene. I was literally like, God damn it, this movie was going so well.
That felt like a completely different movie at that point. Like we went from this thing knew every movement they were making in this other tiny apartment. And it knew how to climb through the vents to get to this room, and then you can't sniff them out around the side of the car,
and
especially when they're not even being quiet.
Exactly.
It like totally could. It was just fucking with them. Like I just thought that was very out of character for both of the main girl, like the main girl and the little girl. Like they would know, just like fucking run for that gate. It's open.
Yeah.
Or run to, I don't know, anywhere else in this giant ass garage to hide.
Right.
But that was the only time where I was like, okay. Yeah. Everything else, like I think what was really helpful watching this was I watched like Evil Dead 1 and 2 like the same day that we went and saw it.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was like just blown away by how many like nods there were to the original movies, because there's a ton, like so many. And like one of the ones that really sticks out to me is the way that the mom is acting while she's stuck outside the door. You know, she's doing that like evil
very playful,
and like but also angry because she wants to participate, and like that's very quintessential Evil Dead. And like they do that in 2013 too with the girl in the cellar. She's like trying to get out. But I just really love that shit. I ate that up. I love that. But
here's my two like main problems with the film. As much as I did enjoy it, I would definitely watch it again. I would definitely say you should go watch it. If you can watch it in theaters, go watch it in theaters. But the two main things that I have a problem with is I felt like it was very go and stop. So what I mean by that is we would build up, like we would have like a big chase scene or like whatever it is, this like attack on whatever character it is. And they would like stab the demon or like knock out the demon. And then we went from like this climactic moment to it being like, okay. And then the demon would be knocked out or unconscious for a few minutes. And then it would come back, and then we would have another like potentially climactic moment, and then it would just fall flat. So it was very like up and down where
I agree with that.
I needed it. I needed more. Yeah. It felt.
I will say I didn't understand how the demons like. I didn't understand I need time to recoup thing. That was weird to me.
Because it was really quick. It was a really quick, once they die, some people came back really fast. Some people took a little longer. And then that hallway scene, it was like, now I'm deciding that everyone's going to come back all at the same time. It's like, what is the rhyme or reason?
Right.
I kind of thought it was like, what I justified in my head was it was intentional. Like anytime like they started to get close to like
freedom,
finding a way out, or like finding an answer, even though there wasn't really an answer in that was one difference in this one. There was no way to defeat them.
I guess I don't know. It took me out of it a little bit more because it happened so frequently. And I do think the writers limited themselves by setting the entire movie in an apartment.
Yeah, because there was really no way to keep it all fast going unless they had escaped the apartment really early.
Well, but then there was so many times where we had enough of a break to be like, are you having a baby in your tummy? We can talk about that later.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we got to get out of here. There were way too many sentimental, like, quiet moments. Like, hello.
I also do kind of wish they had taken the opportunity to explore like some of the other apartment units that were there? Because like there were all these other apartments then that like
They were in that one apartment for like a second. No, that was still her apartment.
They never made it out of that.
I thought where she died and she was in the bed.
Yeah, I thought that was in the neighbor's apartment for a second.
We thought the same thing. I was like, wait. And then the way they like had the script where she was like, I can't even face your kids. I'm like, well, and then we found out they're just like in the next room.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, they were just in the mom's room the whole time.
Yeah, that was confusing. And I was going to say the second thing that I did not like about the movie, and I think it's why I still prefer the 2013 version, is I know y'all are going to come out maybe, but I just don't think that the gore was on par with 2013. So like, for example, in 2013, and we said this when we weren't recording, but the nurse, when you walk into the bathroom and she's literally carving her face open, I wanted that same type of moment.
I feel like
with kind of like that with the eating the wine.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
and
but eating
the glass going through the neck.
Yeah, but it still was not comparable as far as gore goes. And then when she was looking out the peephole and you're seeing all the other apartment tenants getting killed by this demon, I wanted to see more of that. Yeah. They almost got killed off camera.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see it more individualized.
The peephole view though was really interesting.
I did like that as well, but I wanted it to kind of go back and forth. I wanted to see what was happening. And Mason said this, so I'm not going to take credit, but probably the most underwhelming death is the guy that choked on an eyeball.
That's true.
That was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's when Paige started audibly gagging in the theater.
Think about it. It's like the idea that one guy gets his eyeball bitten out of his own face and she's sucking on this eyeball and shoots it. It's like oh god. And shoots it into someone else's mouth. It's like that. I can't. Like, I just can't. It's like I can't. I
see the part that made me scream. Is that a
scream?
The part that made me scream. What's the word I'm trying to say?
Squeamish or scream. Squeamish. I like scream.
Scream. The part that made me scream.
The part that made me scream the most was the cheese guido.
Stop! No, that was bad. That was so bad.
The cheese guido on the leg.
Cheese guido.
And that is the exact type of stuff that I used to be like, oh my gosh, yeah. And now I'm like, I cannot. It just
it's like getting a paper cut.
It's different.
Yeah, but much worse.
Well, yeah.
I do also. Y'all will appreciate this. I saw in the IMDb page that the director confirmed that the cat that was living in the vents survived the events of the movie.
good. I'm so sick of people
Mommy
killing
did
animals
not kill that cat up there, thank God.
The horror movies. That's good.
The cat got away, which is great.
That is great.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, there definitely is more they could have done with the gore. I think that they went for less, like, gore. I mean, like, I was about to say gore as a shock factor. I still think it was plenty shockingly gory, but I think it was less about volume of gore and more about like effectiveness of gore, because I felt like every like kill was very effective, even the eyeball, even though it was like really quick, but like also they broke every rule in the book. Like, children were killed in this movie. Like, that one child in the hallway had his arms fucking ripped off. And he was like thrown across the hallway, which I know we could barely see it.
I wanted to see. Is that wrong? Is that wrong?
It sounds wrong to say out loud, but it's not wrong for a scary movie.
I think when I'm like, okay, I'm going to go see Evil Dead, same thing with Terrifier, I'm expecting a certain level of gore. Yeah. And it just, for me personally, it didn't get there. But
that's fair.
I'm not saying it wasn't gory, because it was. But even in the wood chipper at the very last scene where it's basically raining blood, and I love that we took it back to some of the other films with that. But you like, all you see is the demon like disappearing into the wood chipper, and then it's, you know what I mean?
It wasn't as like, you didn't see like every little morsel go.
Yeah, maybe I need help. Maybe I should go see somebody.
Maybe I need help.
Maybe I should see somebody about that.
Maybe.
I don't know. Those are the only reasons why I didn't love it as much as I thought I was going to. I still really enjoyed it.
The thing that I didn't like, because the part that I found the most confusing was that, okay, when the boy's playing the records, that's when it's summoning, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm on board why the spirit or the entity like kind of takes over, kills her, whatever, in the elevator, right? Mm-hmm. Takes over her. I'm fine with that. And then we find out that through the other records, it's like we cannot kill this thing. If you kill them, they'll come back. If you chop up their body parts, like
find itself again.
Yeah, like the
Another
limbs,
vessel.
like the limbs are just, everything's gonna, be there. That's why it's able to, crawl and morph into that one creepy
Which
thing,
you literally
whatever.
saw in that very last moment. You saw the little pieces of flesh crawling back towards each other.
And that's the thing. It's like, so if you cannot kill this, if this DNA or whatever, once possessed, is just tainted, then I believe it. So at the end, do we do spoilers?
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's like at the end, I was really bothered by, I'm totally fine with, we see all of the blood, all the little like creepy like things, that blood, I don't know, like the
Brain
brains,
matter and
brain
stuff,
like crawling kind of together. I thought, and I told Patrick, I thought that something was gonna, with the blonde girl that's going to her car, I thought something was gonna get into her mouth, or like an eyeball, like something. She was going to somehow ingest this demon creature, but no, they brought back just the entity, and I didn't like that, because it's like, why, if you can just be an entity,
Remorph.
why were you not just like jumping around from person to person the whole time anyways?
I think
That's
it's
true. Yeah, that's an actually really good point.
I also think it was kind of a cop out to do that, but I also think that in my mind the entity like finds the most like convenient host, and then like its goal is to not like infect everyone with the demon shit. Its goal is to kill everyone, and like it infects people with the demon shit in order to kill more people.
Yeah.
So my thought was, it was like in the process of rejoining the body back together, and then it was like, well, there's this bitch right here. Like, let me just get her instead.
Right. Well,
So
I think maybe kind of bouncing off both of those thoughts is it wanted to stay in those recognizable forms for the family members that it was trying to chase, to make it,
because its goal is to
pull at their-
torture.
right. To
Yeah.
make it pull on your heartstrings. So when you combined all three of those family members, like going out and torturing like the sister and the daughter, I think that it's harder to defeat a demon that has the face of your loved ones. And so now that the loved ones, okay, they're already gone, they're probably already with the cops, it's like, okay, I'm gonna bounce to the next, maybe. I don't know.
But then kind of on that same point, there was every single person who, was it the boy, or was it the boy that threw up, or the girl that threw up in the boy, like someone threw up in someone's mouth, and it's like,
girl
that is when that sibling
got infected.
Yeah. Every time they're,
And then she got infected with the tattoo gun, and the mommy being like, let me kiss it better.
And so how come, if these two other people that we think lived, they have their blood, that thing's blood all over them, how do we think they're not infected?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if they did say on the tape, and I think this was them trying to like justify that on the tape. It says it seems to infect people with no rhyme or reason. Like, it doesn't always infect everybody in the same method. Because again, I think part of the fun of it is, if it infects all of them, then who is it going to torture? Like, it wants to torture someone who's going to be personally impacted by this happening. I'll also say, not to backtrack, but like, and I said this to you the other day, we like talked about it a little bit, because like we can talk to Jordan, it'll be like fresh. We talked about it at work.
I see how it is.
I felt really surprised. I mean, like, Evil Dead, I should expect everyone to die because it's Evil Dead. But I don't know why. When I saw the trailers, and even when the movie started, I felt like that family had plot armor on.
Yeah.
Like, I was shocked every time one of the siblings got killed, because I was like, they're not supposed to die in this.
Like, died and stayed dead. I
And
thought there was
stayed
going to be
dead.
something like, oh, and we can bring them back.
Well, I kept waiting for
Right.
like the 2013 twist of like Mia getting like killed and resurrected as herself. And I was
Right.
waiting for that for the mom, because like the mom seemed like such a central character to me, that when she when she just got fully demonized and killed at the end, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I kept expecting her to come back as a human being.
She came back like 7 times. That was
as a demon.
insane.
You're like, okay, ma'am.
Like,
Like,
stay
chill
dead,
out.
please.
Which I also love, this is like kind of a trivia thing, but she said that her inspiration playing the demon, she watched old footage of Jim Carrey in movies, and I'm like, that's
Wow.
perfect.
That is a really interesting. That makes so much sense. Huh.
It really makes sense that she did that. But I think she did a really good job. I think
Oh,
all
yeah.
of the performances were great. This is also the first Evil Dead with a confirmed trans person in the cast. The son was a trans person,
Oh, really?
I believe.
Oh.
Okay. I didn't know that but I saw an article that mentioned that one of the cast members was trans, and I was like, who? I have no idea. I didn't know it was the son.
Yeah, it was the son. And you had the son, and then you had the Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez.
Bird.
I leaned over to Paige at one point. I was like, you can't talk about this on your podcast, but this girl looks like Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
The daughter, Bridget?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. She kind of reminds me of my sister, Cameron, because Cameron used to have her hair cut like that. And they both have like very like round faces, too.
She reminds me of a bird that I think that was in a cartoon, and I don't know what cartoon it was. Something
Tweety
like
bird.
No, like CatDog or something like that. And she talked like... Oh, she talked like this. I'm like, I don't know who that was. I bet Jader Bailey would know. But I think she was in CatDog. You know, I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, look it up.
I
don't remember there being a bird in CatDog.
All I know is I said, she looks like Selena Gomez. And Paige says, she looks like a bird. And I was like, you cannot say that.
A Selena Gomez bird.
A really cute bird.
We're going to have the Selenators coming after you again when they find our podcast.
I love Selena Gomez. I just have to say.
Did I tell you about that, Jordan?
I love Selena Gomez.
The Selena Gomez girlies found their podcast because they said some like not even negative things about Selena Gomez. They were just
only thing we said was that it was surprising to us that she has the most followers on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm thinking that there's so many other people
like that Beyonce's on Instagram,
like Beyonce, or even like
Taylor Swift,
people
Kim
who
Kardashian.
are actively, people who are actively putting out new things, doing like kind of like look at me, you know, so they're like always in the news. And Selena's a little more behind.
Well, she's a private person too.
Exactly.
So,
so I was shocked. Do not say that on your podcast.
Oh, sorry.
We love Selena.
We are Team Selena. I'm Team Selena.
Everyone loves Selena.
Gotta keep an eye out for Selena.
Always.
Like the mommy spitting that eyeball in the movie. She kept an eye out for Selena.
Oh, I get it. I see what you did there. There you go.
I'll also mention in this movie, I feel like no one made enough effort to get out of that building because I would have been doing everything in my fucking power to get out of that building.
That's her.
Oh my God. Wait, no, that makes a lot of sense to me.
I told you.
It's the eyebrows, like the short hair.
And it's like the shape of the face.
Yeah.
And
I'm done.
Her name is Lola.
Lola.
Wow. I'm really glad I figured that out.
I cannot believe that. I remember her now. Is it from It is from CatDog.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're listening to the podcast, go look up the character Lola from CatDog.
Lola Kericola.
Lola Kericola. The girl named Bridget.
Bridget, the daughter in Evil Dead.
She looks like her. I also have to shout out, not that she's ever going to listen to this podcast, the little girlie who played Cassie. I think it's very hard to find a really good and cute little child actor, and she was fantastic.
She did really
eyes.
Good. Oh my gosh, she was so precious.
Her name is Nell Fisher in real life. I think that she played this is going to be some trauma that I'm going to carry with me for the rest of my life really well. Also, I just couldn't stop thinking about that the whole movie. I'm like, this girl's fucked. Like, her life is never going to be normal. She just watched all this shit happen in front of her.
Oh my God. She lost her whole family. Yeah.
She's ruined.
She's ruined.
What was the name of her steak?
Staphne.
That's what it was. I couldn't remember.
It was so cute.
Staphne is the MVP. I was like, I never thought Megan would have contests for the most badass doll from this year's
Staphne will
films.
Protect us.
Staphne.
Everyone's like, yeah, sure, girl. And then she did.
She did, kind of, because everyone just comes back anyways. Yeah. I do think the blanket scene was very creepy.
Well, the blanket scene was very Taylor Swift anti-hero music video.
Oh my God.
And that was the first thing I thought of whenever, oh gosh, now I'm just like creeped out. The first thing I thought of whenever I saw just like standing in the background, I was like, oh, Taylor Swift anti-hero. And then it started floating. I was like, that's me. I was like, that's not Taylor Swift.
I'm the problem. It's me.
I knew we wouldn't be able to get through an episode of the podcast without Taylor Swift being mentioned at least like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times.
That's my fault, and I'm sorry.
Because Paige is here. She's a Swiftie.
I think everyone should be a Swiftie.
Are you a Swiftie?
I'm a Swiftie, but I'm not like a hardcore Swiftie. Like I'll fully admit I was not I've never not liked Taylor Swift. I've always liked her and her music.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't until like the last couple of albums that I was like, holy shit. Like mind blown. Like her lyrics, her writing's just amazing.
It's great.
Yeah.
I know I'm strong feelings. That's the thing. I don't like dislike Taylor. I've just never been like, wow. But like everything I've listened to her from forever, except for the old stuff, because it bothers me now.
Yeah, I mean, I've been a fan of her since, what was her first album? Was that Tim McGraw? Was that?
Yeah.
What was that? 08, 07?
I think 06.
06. Okay.
We
Well, around that time.
Babies back then.
I know.
Babies.
A bebe. I know. And it's just funny because my older sister used to make fun of me so much because that was when I wanted to be a country artist too. And that's when I was learning how to play guitar. So I'm learning all of her songs because in her first two albums were like all of her songs were like 3 or 4 chords, and so it was easy for me to learn. And so then I'm writing my own songs, and anyways, and Jade would just come home and she'd be like, loser.
And now she's a Swiftie.
And now she is a Swiftie, and she's like, I get it.
Oh,
I love that so much.
I know.
Trying to think of other things that I saw. I will say that the opening sequence from Evil Dead Rise was one of the most.
it was so good.
It was so fast.
And that's what I wanted.
Like,
but that's what I wanted. And I'm not saying it wasn't fast, but like it never slowed down. And I do feel like they had some slowdown. Oh my gosh, I know.
That's the thing that made me gag the most in the movie was the hair scene. Also, I think I was prepared because TikTok, someone had said like that title card though, and but like that. Where the words are rising over the lake was so pretty and so like
it was
intense.
So good. I was like, let's
fucking
go. It was epic. Yeah.
It was just so quick. That whole sequence was wild.
It was perfect.
But I hope there's more.
Whenever she was reading the book, and then whenever it started, that gave me the chills I got in the theater. I was like, I'm not ready for this movie.
Like, oh my
gosh. I made a huge mistake. I was so scared.
I thought the whole opening sequence
I like had
was
so
perfect.
much food and I was just like stuffing my face out of fear. I was like,
just keep eating, just keep eating.
Just keep eating because you won't be able to eat it later. You'll want to throw up.
That's true.
But yeah, I thought it was, I honestly, again, I think there were things about it that could have been improved, but I think as a whole, I think it was a really successful movie.
What do you guys think is going to happen in the future? Do you think that there's going to be something that brings all 3 of the books together? Like, what do you think happens?
I wonder,
now?
I don't know for sure if they're going to, do you think they'll keep making them? I mean, I think they could.
I feel like they have to.
Yeah.
I
It
feel
left
like
very
with the way they left
open-ended.
this one, they should, or they could. They left it open, I guess.
They did. I would love for them to keep making it. I do like that we get one every 10 years or so, because I feel like with some horror movies they just put them out all the time, and I'm like, it loses its luster. So I do hope that
More
they continue
happens.
to make them. I would like to see maybe like the trifecta coming together. And
I don't
it's
know
this,
if
like,
they need to find each other though, because like, okay,
Yeah, but, like,
so the book
shit
in
would go down.
That's true, but the book in 2013 went underground, didn't it? Because she like dropped it in the mud and it gets like sucked up.
Right.
Into this.
Yeah.
But the thing is, this book out of the 3 books seems like the most dangerous already.
Well,
because the
nothing
other
happened.
ones-
It's still in the apartment, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like still there. So like it's gonna be found so easily by someone else. But that's the thing is like the other 2 books had books.
Wait, what happened with the first book?
The book, I mean, it had
Like, where is it?
It had like a reversal incantation in it. Like, I don't know where it is. The last place I think you saw it actually was in
The medieval time?
unless you see it in the show, which I think you might. Now that I think about it, it was still in the cabin
Oh.
because in Evil Dead 2, the doctor's daughter opens a portal that sends Ash and I thought like the demon back in time.
Yeah.
And then he finds his way back, but I don't remember if the book left the cabin in that one, but it could have. It probably left it in the show, I would imagine, because the Necronomicon's in the show too.
Probably.
So I don't know where it is.
Well,
but
I mean, hear me out. It's like another movie happens and we have all 3 books together because wherever the cabin is, they're digging because they're going to make these like apartment complexes or like some kind of, condos or whatever. So they're like, hey, we found these weird books here, whatever. So that's where we get those 2. And then they're like, oh, those kind of look like this creepy book we got from that one crime scene from the earthquake, whatever. So then and it's like some scientist, some expert in this shit, he's like, oh, okay, put him in my museum or whatever, and then they're all together and then shit goes down.
You know, I just had a brilliant idea for a premise. Would be
That was the brilliant idea.
That was also great. But this is another layer added on top of that because it would make it very like contemporary. have like whoever the scientists find the book and like have him scan it into like some AI feature, and it's like, hey, can you like transcribe these for me? And then like ChatGPT is like, yeah, it says this, and it just like reads all of it out.
Oh no.
That would be
Everyone's fucked.
It's like Conda, just like with a very robotic voice is the whole entire thing.
Not ChatGPT. You
ChatGPT
know what? I do
affecting all of
think
us with
with the
demons.
title like Evil Dead Rise, though, you have to assume because
It's rising to something.
It's rising, right? And like if you think about it, like in the timeline in the Evil Dead universe, the last thing we see is that girl rising above the lake, and well, technically it's the first thing we see, but you know, timeline wise, that's the next order of events. And so then,
I didn't think about that.
so like what happens to her? Like
That's true.
she now she can fly. I don't know.
fly.
It's so weird.
All I know is the show, I think whatever comes next has to be in between this movie and then the end of the show, because the last season of the show is about the apocalypse that is caused by the books.
I'd be fine if, like I said earlier, I'd be okay if we went back in time, like Evil Dead the beginning or something like that, where we see
How it all started.
Yeah.
I think we could even go before Army of Darkness, because that was not the beginning of them. I don't know. That would be really interesting.
That would be interesting.
I think there's a lot of room to play.
Oh, yeah.
Did you also notice, I'm just going to throw out some fun trivia things that I read about this movie specifically. I know you're going to do trivia about other Evil Deads later. Did you notice? Sorry, I'm like short of breath. That's just like part of life with allergies now. I'm just like, that's why I keep moving the mic away, because I don't want to like in the mic.
I don't notice it.
It's just ASMR.
Yeah, you're
I
fine.
haven't done any ASMR this episode.
Can we both just do that?
Not the mukbang, yes.
Oh,
You both
God.
went-
That's embarrassing.
Did you notice that the mom, her tattoos on her arms were like ivy, or they were like thorns, which was supposed to be representative of what happens in Evil Dead 2013 and Evil Dead 1, where the two girlies get raped by the trees, basically. Where it wraps them up in vines.
Well, we kind of saw that in the elevator scene,
It's true.
too.
Which,
Wow.
going back to that 2013, when I rewatched that yesterday, I was like, and she's like, it's in here. I was like, girl, it's in you.
It's inside
like that.
you.
And where did it go? Where did it go?
We all know.
Anyways,
Oh,
I didn't notice that with the tattoos.
Yeah, it was supposed to be intentional. There's a lot of things like that
I
I
didn't know
saw
those
that were really intentional, and I thought that was very interesting. Oh, that was a fun noise. The name of their apartment is the Mond, which is an anagram for demon. Bum, bum, bum.
I did not catch that.
There's a lot of things like that.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Ooh. They made the chainsaw the same color as Bruce Campbell's Oldsmobile.
I did notice that.
That's intentional.
Is there a chainsaw in every single one of these movies? Like, was there only...
Yes.
Did she...
Even Army of Darkness? There is.
It goes back in time with him, literally.
Oh, because it's on his arm.
Okay.
The sound of Ellie biting out a man's eyeball in the hallway is actually an audio recording of Bruce Campbell furiously biting into an apple.
Okay. That kind of makes me feel a little better.
I'm a big fan of that. The cat survived. I already said that. Oh, yeah. She said, Beth saying, come get some to the demon creatures while holding a shotgun is an homage to Ash Williams saying the same line while holding a shotgun in the S-Mart ending of Army of Darkness. So that's what she says is, come get some.
Come get some.
Come get some. Could you put yourself in that? First of all, what I liked about this is because I'm on the Your Poor Dad podcast about my sisters, and this was a scary movie about these two sisters, right? They were brought back together. And when I tell you how quickly I would have left with my sister's children, we would not have stayed.
No.
We would not have stayed.
The
We
second
would.
she started acting funky, I was like, we
The
don't go.
moment she walks into the house after she's killed in the elevator and she's like limping on her ankle and you look at her face and she's dead. She's dead in those eyes. We're taking our chances jumping out the window. We're taking our chances climbing down the non-existent stairs. We would rather die
Trying to escape.
that way
Yeah.
than just, Mommy, is that you? Mommy, you don't look well. Bitch, you're not well.
Obviously something wrong with her. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but you probably wouldn't. All of the characters are named after actors from the original trilogy. So they use real people.
Oh.
Names. Also, something I noticed when I was looking at
their
this
real
page,
names?
the real people's names.
Okay, that's cool.
I needed to look at this poster with me and tell me if you see what I saw when I looked at this poster.
Her hands, her teeth.
Who she got in this poster?
Oh, the two kids. The two kids
She's
that she
holding
ends up
on to the older two kids. This kid is not being held on to.
Oh.
And I'm like, is that an intentional thing?
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
It
I think that's so
100%
cool
is.
that they did a little like nod to us. Like,
Yeah, well,
these
she
kids,
was-
she gonna get them.
It's a
told
Taylor
us.
Swift Easter egg.
Mm-hmm. Little Taylor Swifty Easter egg.
Wow.
This was her lavender moment. I don't know what that means. I just,
No, I appreciate that you know lavender.
I was just
Haze.
listening to your podcast, and that's what you were talking about, the Taylor Swift Easter eggs, and that's what I remember. That's what I
I
gleaned onto.
appreciate it.
I try to be.
I'll take it.
I just try to be a supporter of the Paige and Brandt sister podcast, but
Paige and Brandt.
the Paige and Brandt,
New podcast coming soon.
Paige and Brandt, Paige and Dr. Brandt.
I call my listeners the pagers.
The Pagers.
The pagers.
What are the other? I feel like Bailey and I are holding similar energy this episode because I got the rasp going and she has the always rasp because she has the like sultry
lower-
voice in the
yeah.
podcast.
Bailey's her nickname's Left Girl because
Left
she just she doesn't talk a lot.
Is that why she starts every episode? Is because
That's why she starts every episode, and that's why we make her read the listener stories to like force her to talk. Because Jade and I just we talk, and by the time she's one of those people, love her for it. She thinks before she speaks. Jade and I could not be. So Bailey, sometimes you'll see her go like open her mouth like she's about to say something, but Jade and I are already on to the next. And so poor thing, she's Left Girl. They're like, why don't you guys ever let Left Girl talk? And we're like, we try.
I feel like Bailey and I are similar in that energy too because I never talk on our
shut up. No, not even.
No only child energy here.
Someone's in denial.
What if you were in? Okay, to another angle over this movie. If you were involved if you were in this event, not like I know we've already said we would immediately leave the apartment if the mommy walked in being like all. But say you're still in there when you find out there's no way out. What would you do? First off, I think I'd be sorry. I asked and then immediately started answering.
Classic. What were we just talking about?
Such an only child.
Want to hear your thoughts, but first mine.
Hear my thoughts.
Jordan's literally like about to speak.
She goes, well, those have been Jordan's thoughts.
Oh, someone asked me a question. I'm going to respond. First, let me tell you about me.
Are you going to eat your cherries?
No, I'm scared.
Oh, Jordan, please answer.
I don't even remember what the question was. What is your question?
What would you do?
Gross. What would I do in that situation?
Who are we?
Like, are we living in the unit, or are we just like on the floor?
Beth, or
Just
what's
say
her
you're
name?
one
Beth?
of the older kids, probably.
Okay.
Or
One of
sister.
Are we the sister or one of the kids?
Your choice.
Well, surely this day and age they have cell phones, right? Why did no one use a cell phone to call?
I think they said there was no service.
Oh, ugh, I am so sick and
But also
tired of horror
bullshit.
movies using that as an excuse.
Doesn't the emergency feature work even if
Exactly.
you don't have service?
Exactly.
Okay, well, I would call 911 because something's obviously wrong. And then if I do feel like I am physically endangered, I would do what Paige said and try to get out the window, try to climb down the stairs, something. I mean, you have bed sheets, make a makeshift little ropey thing and at least get a little bit further down. So when you have to jump off, okay, yeah, you might break something, but at least... I don't know. You're getting help for you and your family.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
I would be throwing things at that homeless man because all she did was go,
She
hey! And that's
She
it.
did not throw one thing to
I'd be
get
throwing
that person's
everything
attention.
in that room at that homeless
I
person.
forgot about the homeless guy.
It's raining and she's like, hey. And I thought she was going to be throwing shit. She didn't throw anything.
Grab a fucking pot.
Here's the thing that I'll say,
Yeah.
because I would have no problem throwing myself out. If we see somebody possessed, because right now it's like, oh, I'm like, can that happen? Like, we see it. Oh shit, that can happen. Therefore, everything else is out the window. Anything can happen, right? It's like, I'm not taking my chances. Right. Every time they're like,
I'd rather jump.
what I don't know if it was in this movie or the one from 2013. They're like, she's being raped in hell or whatever.
2013.
I'm sorry. I would rather kill myself and my soul to go anywhere else before you can grab on to my soul. Yeah. So
if I'm convinced in that moment that like hell is real and like if I get killed by you, I'm going to there, I would be taking my life in my own hands.
Going there with you.
Also, when they go to the stairwell and they're like, they're gone. There were things I could jump down onto and like make it out.
Yes.
Because I would be like hopping from little platform to platform.
Yeah.
They were just like, oh no, they're gone, because there wasn't every single step. They couldn't carry mom down there, obviously.
Yeah,
but at
well,
that point,
mom didn't need to go.
At that point, leave mom there and just start jumping down.
Mom had already died at least twice or 3 times at that point.
Mm-hmm.
She can stay.
She can stay right there.
Yeah.
But I do feel like there wasn't a good enough effort to get out, and like also them having a hard time prying open that apartment door. I was like, what apartment door is this?
Yeah, and usually in scary movies, when they have that thought of, oh, we need to jump out or go run out something, and then they get killed in some way, shape, or form. So everyone else is like, okay, there is no exit. There is no way out. They didn't even try.
They never tried. They didn't try to get into any other apartments except for that one where they tried to shoot the door down, and they still didn't do it for some reason. The one where the fire escape was.
Oh, yes.
They never got in there, and I was like, why is this door so hard to knock down, firstly? And secondly, why
it's literally a fire escape.
Like we cannot get out, we cannot escape. Yeah. I will say Auntie Beth did a very bad job when Mommy said, please don't let them get my babies. She did not do quite well.
No, she did not.
They just kept splitting up so much. I was like, stop splitting up.
Like, whenever she was in the other room with the headphones on, listening to the last record, and you have that little girl just like
in the next room,
like, you're joking. You're not getting out of my sight.
Yeah, as soon as mom like was in the hallway, the other kids would not have been out of my sight one time. It was a tiny ass apartment. How was it possible for them to like separate that much?
Hey, I just need a moment. I'm gonna go into this room and close the door. You guys, you're good, right?
You're good, right? Keep an eye on your mom.
I feel like her justification was, I need to be the only one who hears this just in case the demon comes. But that doesn't even make sense because the demon didn't infect the person who heard it to begin with.
And it's like, hello. I'm all on board with, okay, I want to be the only one to listen to this just in case. But it's like, hey, bitch, you little girl, you're going to be in the room with me watching my back. Yeah. And if you see some weird shit going on, flag me down.
Yeah, they were all coming in the room with me to listen to it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Especially if we were in headphones. Like,
exactly. It was weird.
The other thing,
she's never been a babysitter.
See, all I'm hearing is we're talking more and more about things we didn't like about it.
Well, that's the thing, is you unpack the movie as you go. I will say also the vent thing. Before the mom figured out that she could climb into the apartment through the vent, I feel like I would have already figured out that I could climb out of the apartment through the vent. Like, I could climb into another apartment through the vent. Then mom would probably figure it out at the same time and meet me in the vent, and that would really fucking suck. But
oh my God.
that actually would have been a really good scene.
But at least I'd be making an effort.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they were like climbing after each other in the vent.
And then she's like,
oh my God.
And she has to like morph, like, and then like you hear bones cracking, and she's like, yeah, that would have been a good scene.
I will say I really did like the addition of the conjoined demon of the three of them. That was like really interesting to me.
It was interesting.
And I think they showed us just enough of it. Like, I think one thing this movie did really well is it showed us just enough of the monster, but not too much. Sometimes.
It reminded of something that you would see. You remember Sid from Toy Story? Mm-hmm. How he put it?
Yes.
That it was almost like what was Stephanie? What's
Staphne?
Staphne. It's almost like Staphne was like the little doll head thing, and that's what it reminded me of, like when they all morphed together. It was like something.
I also feel like hallway demons were useless. They just kind of laid there and then were like, dead by dawn, and that's all they did.
Dawn. I know. That's why I thought that they were gonna like all start attacking.
I liked that little shining moment though with the bloody elevator.
It was very cool, and that was practical effects too.
Dang.
But also it's like, who had to clean that up? Who had to like pour all of that in there? Like the logistics of it. I'm like,
probably
man,
a set. The whole thing they just slowed it down.
Sucks.
But yeah, I followed a bunch of the creatives on Instagram because I like to see the behind the scenes stuff that they put up, and they showed the video of them practicing the blood scene because you could only do it one time because it was like real special effects blood, and how do you redo that?
Right.
They did it with water on like a sound stage, so that you see this thing of them like opening up this trap door and the two characters getting literally like, I thought they were on bungees or something. They weren't. They just had them get like shot across the floor by water, basically.
Oh my god!
They had like helmets on in that take, but in the real take, obviously not. But it was really
wow,
fun
that is really cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It looked really exciting, and I also saw that little girl Nell Fisher who played
The
Cassie.
little girl.
I forgot her name. She was not allowed to go to the premiere because she's 9 or however old she is, and so they did a special screening with her where they removed a lot of the gore, which I'm like, can you imagine being in a horror movie that's really gory and they're being told you can't watch the like full version of this because you're a baby?
Didn't that happen with I don't know, something, I don't know if it was Poltergeist or something like around that time, like the little girl who was in it, she like never saw it. That's crazy to me because I feel like the scenes that you're in are pretty scary.
Yeah.
You know, like
that's
like the scariest scenes, like, girl, you've already seen that. You're in it.
The little boy that's in The Shining, they told him that they didn't tell him it was a scary movie.
Maybe that's what I'm
like
thinking.
He didn't know that he was making a scary movie.
Oh,
like
I did not know that.
And he was just told to like look surprised or like run this way or ride your bike this way, but like the whole time he had no idea like what the movie was about.
Wow.
So yeah.
I was gonna say it can't be scary on set making this kind of movie because like the like mom, like Alyssa Sutherland or whatever, she would probably like pop right out of character and be like, "What's up, guys?" And, like, be fun.
To a little New Zealand accent or wherever she's from.
Hello.
Yeah,
she's from Australia. Also, I think part of what made it really scary was they had really good CG eyeballs for all of them because those were not contacts. Those were like CG.
Oh.
Because I saw like behind the scenes footage of them doing the like peephole stuff, and she did not have them in.
Was anyone waiting for like something to go in the eye during the? Because
every time they looked in, I was like, "It's coming."
Yeah. But we
every single time, never got it though.
Classic.
I just wanted more people in the movie. I wanted more cannon fodder for the demons, I think, and I hope that's what we get in the next one. I hope we get something of more apocalyptic proportions because now the demon is in LA, one of the biggest, most populous cities in the world. And I think there's a lot they can do.
And for all we know, the two that got away could be turning into demons too.
Yep.
That's true. And all those demons that were just chilling up on the 5th floor, where are they? All those men up there.
Yeah, because what happens is the police officers get there, firefighters get there, they finally are able to access that floor, and then all of them are like bitten or eaten or whatever, and then they turn into these demons too, and then that's the apocalypse.
If you like this episode, please come back for our little trivia episode that we'll do after this, where Jordan will regale you with some Evil Dead trivia, and I'll be talking about some horror sisters and siblings trivia.
Okay.
We'll be grilling Paige and seeing if she can, and if she gets things wrong, then she has to eat moonshine cherries.
Oh yeah,
everyone too much like an eyeball.
Oh, just think of the eyeball every time the.
That's what we'll do. We'll put it in our mouth and then we'll spit it in there.
I have this weird thing with spit. I've told you those stories.
Oh yes, I remember. Gosh. Oh my god. If you like this podcast, feel free to rate, review, and subscribe on any platform. Also follow us on Instagrams,
TikTok.
And Paige, where can your podcast be found?
Your Poor Dad Pod on Instagram and TikTok. So check us out.
And you're streaming on all the platforms as well, I believe. Correct?
Yes. Correct.
Not that you need help. Y'all are like doing well in the podcasting game. Y'all like killing it.
Yeah, but we're not murdering it, you know?
We all want to be making money with these things, I'm sure.
I know. We'll get there, guys.
Yeah, we'll get there someday.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep digging until we get to the
other side of the globe.
The hole.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on this episode, guys.
Yeah,
anytime. Anytime you want to come back, you're welcome to.
I would love to.
And again, Paige will be joining us for the trivia portion here that we'll be recording in 20 seconds rather than what you'll think as a week later. But
don't spoil the magic. The podcast magic.
Yeah, the podcast magic, yeah.
Yeah, I'm coming back next week.
Yeah, we'll just have this exact same lighting, same outfits, all that stuff.
Yes.
Don't drink a podcast.
Well, we did so little ASMR this episode. All right. Bye.
Bye.